Far beyond the edges of time stood a library with no walls. Its shelves stretched endlessly in every direction, filled with books that shimmered and shifted as if alive. Some were worn and weathered, their pages marked by fingerprints of countless lifetimes. Others were blank, their covers waiting to be touched for the first time. The traveler arrived there by accident, or so they thought. They had followed a faint pool through the labyrinth of their own becoming, and now stood in a place that felt both foreign and deeply familiar. A librarian greeted them, ancient and luminous. "Welcome," they said. "Here are all the stories you never lived." The traveler reached for a book with trembling hands. Its pages were full of chapters they recognized. Childhood memories, heartbreaks, triumphs, betrayals. But as they read, they noticed something strange. Whole sections were written in handwriting that wasn't theirs. Sentences ended abruptly. Pages bore the weight of someone else's narrative. Who wrote this?" the traveler asked. "Some of it you did," said the librarian. "The rest was written by the voices you believed instead of your own." The traveler flipped through more books and saw the same pattern. Entire arcs authored by fear. Chapters dictated by shame. Whole lifetimes ghostwritten by expectation. "I thought this was my story," they whispered. "It was," the librarian said, "but only the parts that you claimed." They led the traveler deeper into the library, to a quiet section untouched by dust. Here, the shelves were filled with blank books. "These," the librarian said, "these are your unwritten stories." The traveler hesitated. "But I don't know what to write." "You're not supposed to yet," the librarian replied. "The ink is formed by choice. Every time you choose to question an old belief, a sentence appears. Every time you act from truth instead of fear, a paragraph is written. Every time you forgive yourself for what you didn't know, a new chapter unfolds." The traveler opened one of the blank books. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a single word appeared. "Begin." They smiled. For the first time, the pen felt light in their hand. They realized that they didn't have to erase the old stories in order to write new ones. They only had to stop letting them be the whole book. Some days they returned and wrote bold, sweeping characters. Other days they added only a single trembling sentence. But the books filled slowly, beautifully, undeniably. And with each page, they stopped feeling like a character in a story someone else had written, and started becoming the author of their own. Before leaving, the traveler asked the librarian one last question. "Will these books ever be finished?" The librarian smiled. "Stories don't end. They evolve. And every time you awaken to another piece of who you are, the story begins again." The traveler walked out of the library with ink-stained fingers and a heart that was alive with possibilities. They no longer feared the past stories, nor were they trapped by them. They were simply part of the shelf, part of the library of becoming. Because destiny is not written, it's written into. And the moment you pick up the pen, you stop being just a story. You become the storyteller.